Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2018 National Scrabble Championship. Everything is heating up now. The story of this championship so far has been how a 162 rated player from the southwest of the country, which, incidentally, dear listener, I am told is a hotbed of world championship contender Scrabble players, Cornish, is here now playing against the defending champion Austin Shin. Jamie currently has lost only 2 games in this tournament so far. Austin, having had a bit of a rough day, is 1 game behind Jamie. Currently matching Jamie at the top of the board is Ed Martin. Ed has about a 500-point spread cushion, that's the word I'm looking for, over Jamie, but only has about a 100-point spread cushion over Austin. So anything can happen in this game. Jamie going first. I think he's going to play Mudge. Oh, interesting. Okay, he's opted to play Geum there. I think that's a good move. Hate to say it, but equally I'm going to say it's the first time I've said that about one of Jamie's moves. I think Mudge keeping ET had to be the play. Maybe he didn't know Mudge. Failing Mudge, then D-Gum, same letters, but slightly less defensive. Austin, in the meantime, has, well, Levites, among other things. So Austin should play a bonus pluralizing Geum, we would expect. I'm just trying to think if there's anything through any of the floaters, televise. Not a lot else. So he's playing V-lights, I would imagine. Yeah, he's played Velites so that he doesn't give an overlap play down the side. Leavist or Evilist would have scored 1 point more, played in a similar kind of situation. Jamie now has N-Tender. Seems to be adopting some kind of praying pose currently. Maybe he's put it on hold, perhaps? Looks like he might have put him on hold. Austin hasn't drawn any new tiles yet. Okay, so Jamie's accepted V-lights. He now has N-Tender, Untender. Obviously, N-Tender is going to score more because it's going to be hitting the double word score through the E of the first E of V-lights. If he doesn't play N-Tender, his options are very limited. He'll be thinking he's got great scoring opportunity. But sure enough, the static simulations, he's playing unrented, okay. The lowest scoring of the bonus options. Importantly, leaving the floaters for Austin. Not that he needed them. I mean, he had epilogue already onto the E of lights. Just having a look at what else he might have. It's now got a few options, such as Pruling. Probably Pruling, I would imagine, is the highest scoring play through the N of unrented. Where the scores are equal like this, I think you might as well just take the highest scoring moves. I think Pruling would be my choice here. If the D were one further over, you'd have Sol Puget. So once again, options for Austin. Epilogue, which I mentioned earlier on, top left. Also from the ease of unrented in one sense or another. The ing bonuses through the N of unrented, superling, coupling, and my personal preference, pruling. Pruling scores 6 points more than any other bonus. He's got it set up. This is the point at which you don't want to start thinking, hold on, I know poulter. Is poulting a word? Hold on, what about plouter? Is plouting a word? Don't think too much, just play pruling. If anyone's interested, I can't imagine you are. Poulter, as I mentioned, is a word, as is poulterer, someone who sells chickens and poultry. But poulterer itself has an anagram. Personal favourite of mine, pétroleur, which I'm guessing is someone who fills you up with petrol in a service station. So it sounds like much more sexier than it should be, as does everything in French. I think Austin's probably just taking his time to make sure he's not missing a 9-timer here or a double-double. He is only one letter away from things like pugilist. Incidentally, pugilist is a prime example of why Chris Eubank didn't take up boxing. Did take up boxing. Didn't take up Scrabble, because pugilist to us is just an 8-letter word, but to him it's 9. So there you go. He's up for pruling. We can forget my pugilist joke. Jamie has a pleasant rack that almost makes a lot of things. It is the kind of rack that you should probably be nurturing gently into giving you a bonus on the next move. Plays such as just FA down the side of unrented. If, however, you felt like ploughing through, scoring heavily, turning over lots of tiles, you could do worse than flat cap, the anagram of cat flap. Farce, perhaps, through the R, or the blank R that has just been played. Or as Jamie has set up on his rack, currently facade. 39. Scores 10 points more than just FA. But again, just keeping the 2 tiles. Facade sets up big plays for the J and the Z as well across the top of the second A. So defensively, it's relatively weak. Played it. Score, turnover. That's what we know. So championship player there for what it's worth. Ranked Facade second, behind FA. So I told Jamie earlier on, necessarily a pep talk, but a bit of feedback. So I haven't really come across anything that I would say categorically he did wrong, but occasionally maybe just the second best choice. You can't really question. Facade is still a decent play. It's just probably a little bit more volatile necessary. Austin taking out the 9-timer threat, as limited as it was with P in 5th position, by playing his highest scoring move and the best play. Handily picking out Taquaria to go through the eye of V-Lights. And now Jamie is being stung by not managing his rack. If he picked out 2 of those tiles, so he kept PT, so say he picked out IR to go with his CAPTE rack, you have a really good rack right now, and he'd be bonusing. Plays that you should be considering will definitely be offloading both eyes. Shame that OA isn't a word, because Piray and PIRAI would be great through the R of pruling. If he's offloading one eye, he could play Pirai, PERAI, across the top of Facade. Low scoring options, things such as ATIGI, ATIGI, or ARTIGI, ARTIGI, through the G of Geums. Could just play more or less face value Piré through the R of unrented. Of course, to listener, if you like 6-letter words that don't take an S hook, there's one I overlooked, which is peritai, through the E of unrented as well, plural of peritus, which would keep AI. None of these, of course, interfering with Taquaria. Taquaria It is the only bonus that Austin has. This will also make quadrate and paraquet. Parakeet, I think, is just another spelling of. Looks like Jamie's considering just playing Perry, keeping TIAI. Or indeed just playing XI maybe is going through his head now, because he's placed one eye off to the right of his rack, as you can probably see. If he's thinking about doing that, he's currently going through what are the options on this board. Well, inevitably there are going to be some bonuses that he can draw to by keeping a trip eye. Plenty through that L. Well, I say plenty. One reptilia. But I see if you pick an E. It's looking like he's going to just play XI. Yep. He's put it on the board. I think he's still thinking about it. He's probably thinking this doesn't feel right, but he's played it. Okay, XI. Austin, sitting there, relatively nonplussed, is going to play Taqueria. I imagine he would have assessed the board situation already and realizes that it's the only bonus he's got. Unless you're going to score 60 somewhere else to not leave the S hook, you just play it. There we go. So Jamie, having set up a game-winning S-hook against David Webb earlier on, is now on the receiving end of an S-hook that he can't use. He has picked out Piratic, which does not play. Combines with a K to make Patrick and an M to make Primatic, neither of which play. Easy scores available underneath Taqueria, making QI up. That's probably not a bad place to offload some tiles. You're not going to interfere with the E floating of V-lights. You're not interfering with the R of unrented. And when you're 150 behind, you certainly don't want to be interfering with openings. Given that he already has a floating R in unrented, I think playing Rip rather than Tip would be the play. Players like Perotai are still available, but this rack isn't far off a bonus, so we shouldn't be turning over for the sake of it. He's opted to play Perry, no doubt, because he still wants to remove the threat of the Z of the J. Because already when you're 150 behind, a 70.2 less play is going to really screw up your day. It does also create another opening bottom right. Doesn't score as much. Scores 10 points fewer than Rip would have done, but using the same tiles. Austin plays Twig. Top scoring player there would have been Dewitt, D-E-W-I-T-T, which in the plural is, of course, the anagram of Twisted. Austin probably has played Twig as well to frustrate a little bit the Esocon to Curia, not leave it as flexible. Both of them would love to see an S right now. Jamie for Shitface, and Austin just for straightforward Takarias. We don't really have them in the UK. I'm sure Americans are screaming at me now saying it's Takarias, it's Takarias. This is where I found out it's actually not a place that you buy tacos. It's some kind of tropical disease that causes your legs to fall off. But then tacos have that effect as well. Anyway, back in the room. So Jamie, without the joy of Shitface, has to come up with something else. When you're 155 behind, so Austin actually has double his score at the moment. These are the moments where you start thinking 9-timer. 9-timer and scoring. Something such as chef across the top of Takaria would make sense. Which almost as if he's heard me, he's just set up to play. Keeping AIT is a pretty sound move. Scores heavily, creates opportunity for a 9-timer. Will almost certainly be blocked, but you have to force your opponent to play the blocking move. Give yourself a chance. Austin's got simple plays like Covet. Yeah, there we go. Oof. And Jamie has picked out pretty bad tiles. Slightly better for Austin there would have been Covent. Oh, he has played Covent. Very sorry, didn't notice that. So the left-hand side of the board is looking pretty useless now for Jamie. The eyes begin to trail across to the right. Much of the useful stuff on the right requires an S. Oh dear. Oh, Jamie chooses his moment to make a blunder. That will be coming off. Such a shame, he's played so well so far, but that was not a good move, I'm afraid, Jamie. And it's a killer because you're going to be left with all that rubbish. Austin has full knowledge of of what you've got, and Austin has a pretty powerful rack. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, game over. Austin simply now needs to do what he does well and start closing this board down. He doesn't want to risk something nasty coming down from Taqueria. So maybe something as simple as broth through the R kills any nasty threats of a double and Taquerias. Takes out the R. And Jamie is probably going to have a vowel heavy rack regardless of what he does next time. So you want to start ideally you can take out those consonants. Other options include things like Jotun through the U of Taqueria. Hend, making hum, orn, and id. If you want to frustrate, plays through the G, and frustrate even more, plays through the I of twig. 24. Hend has the advantage of keeping your only vowel, but actually, even bearing in mind what Jamie's got in his rack, there's a few left. Yeah, Austin plays Jotun. Scores decently, frustrates the E of Valites. He knows he's not threatened by what Jamie has on his rack at the moment. Virtue of knowing what he has, which is a bit of a shame. Austin, of course, drawing to a back that has 3 S's and a blank in it. If he picks out one of those S's now, okay, so Jamie in a spot of bother. Yeah, higher scoring play would be Aviator rather than Viator. 22. That sets up all sorts of big scores for Austin, including something that makes Aviator, such as BAH, KAB. Highest score by the look of it, I think, is going to be Kazi, KHAZI, across from the I of Perry. 63. And Austin has it set up in his rack. Jamie has picked out all 3 of the unseen S's by playing Viator. It won't do much good though, because it's come up with a W and a U. And after this next play, Austin's going to be back to having double his score. I think Jamie should be thinking about WUS, WU, double S, and Kazis right now. So not a lot else worth considering. I'll score 36 will create obviously an opening down the right hand side of the board. I'm so glad that Austin doesn't have a floating A right now, because I am not going to bring myself to say that Austin is playing adorably. Yeah. Was right play. Austin sitting with Broadley. Was obviously taking the Y on the end. Is he scratching it? Does he hold it? Has he held this? Okay, Austin is holding Wuss. It's the great thing about competitive Scrabble, isn't it? People at home would play Wuss without batting an eyelid. Everybody knows this is a word. Once you actually get into playing in a Scrabble tournament, words that people at home would be laughing at, jeering at you, not knowing, you will hold, even when you're one of the best players in this tournament in the world. I bet he's going to challenge it. I bet he's going to challenge it. Come on. Come on, challenge it. Come on. You know you're going to. Oh, damn. Austin accepts a word, which... Austin accepts a word which he realises is actually good. Of course, realising that Wuss is good, he's also now realising that it takes a while in the end. He will know the bonuses, he'll know Wussier, Wussiest. He has Odile, ODYL, Wussie. He'll probably just want to make sure, though, and if he can, play something downside of Wuss. Jamie has a good rack. Not that it'll do him a lot of good in the current situation. So from Austin's point of view, there are 12 tiles unseen currently, which does include the blank and another S. If you wanted to make sure that there was going to be no punishing double-double coming through to Korea, you could play Blowy. That would have the added benefit as well of frustrating plays through the R. He's got BLOY set up on his rack in the right order to play Blowy. I think defensively is quite sound. And if Jamie doesn't play a bonus next move down the right hand side, Austin's going to play something into the Y, which will also kill the S hooks on Viator. Of course, Austin will also be 207 points ahead after Blowy. Austin's highest score is a nice little underplay of Red Bay beneath Viator. Oh, the paparazzi get everywhere, don't they? Both players, steely-faced, focused. David Webb, a trained ninja. It's only with our high technology we can see what's happening. He's now taking pictures of me. The paparazzi know no limits. Austin vacillating backwards and forwards between many winning plays. Odile, the third highest scoring possibility he has. Personally, I like Blowy because it'll suck the spirit out of his opponent as so many openings go and the double-double ceases to exist. Oh, he's picked up letters of Blowy. Oh, a majestic play. Austin will be relieved to pick out the blank, having set himself up to play Rapidity. Unfortunately, actually he also has Rail and Rainbirds down from the R of Viator, but I don't imagine that's going to stay. Actually, it could do. But then if Rapidity is blocked, then Rainbird and Railbird definitely will be. That ET of Chef or elsewhere, diatribes. Tribades, I imagine, is good as well, plural of tribadi. Probably the highest scoring play available for Jamie now would be to play O-R-E, apart from using the S. Yeah. Simulation suggests just playing the S. Now Austin has Railbird, Rainbird, or Rabidity to seal a convincing win. I think there have been a few mistakes in this game from Jamie. I mean, nothing to be too harsh about. I mean, Mudge was a miss on the first move, definitely. I think keeping missing the superior player Ventender with only played unrented, marginal. But then losing a bit of rack control by playing facades. I mean, that was probably the best illustration of the power of controlling a rack and coaxing the bonus, because he went from potentially having a rack of pike rate next move to having a rack that had 3 eyes on it. It was unfortunate, and actually facade was the second choice after FA, but I think it was very clear that in this case FA would have been the play. Not to take anything away from his opponent, Austin. Austin has played soundly. He's had a little bit of the rub of the green, certainly with the opening couple of moves, the opening bonus, Pruling, and then Takeria shortly afterwards. Austin obviously doesn't see Rabidity, is playing Railbird or Rainbird. We don't know which it is. Looks like it's Rainbird that he's played. Jamie, as he turns over the tiles for Dreamed, is hoping that he suddenly wakes up. Unfortunately, he won't be. This game has very much been put to bed now, but it is starkly real. So, to give you a summary where we are, at the end of this round now, Ellie Dangour has just beaten Ed Martin. So Ed, Ellie, Austin, and Jamie will all be on the same number of wins. Could it get more exciting? Scrabble and word games doesn't get more exciting than this. And some people get their kicks from MasterChef, seriously. Right, let's get it over with, guys. Just play something. We're excited to get on to the next games. I think in this situation, Jamie should be playing, Deary, Didi. The benefit of Didi down the side is that it lets him play out with Ram and Aviator. Let's have a quick look to see if Austin has an outplay. No, he's just taking the score with OE. 33. Leaving Jamie to play out somewhere with his MED. 20 points for metered. That's the best score to go out with. So there you go. Austin, who was the threat to Ed on spread, has just won this game convincingly. Ed, having lost to Ellie, I think is now likely to be behind Austin on spread. Jamie is going to fall right back in the pack on spread. So that might have cost Jamie his shot at the title this year, because with 4 people on the same number of wins, someone is going to be ahead of him on spread after the next round. So commiserations to Jamie Jones. He's played well so far, possibly a step too far in this game, a couple of mistakes, but certainly a player to watch for the future. And I think we're disappointed if we don't see him finishing in the top 5 this year's National Scrabble Championship. I am now off for a coffee. I will see you all 4 o'clock Brett Smitheram time. We've got 4 minutes. It's going to be a quick coffee.